Canadian sprinter Andre de Grasse ready to take on the world's fastest man. It is the marquee event of every Summer Olympics, the 100-meter dash. All eyes will be on Olympic champion Usain Bolt. And for the first time, he will race alongside Canadian phenom Andre de Grasse in the semifinals, maybe even the finals. And there's also another Canadian medal contender to watch for on the field tonight. Derek Drouin begins qualifying in high jump. Joining us now to talk about Canada's big evening on the track, Olympian and CBC Sports commentator Perdita Felicien. Thanks. Good to see you, Perdita.
Good to see you, Jennifer.
It is an exciting night we have ahead of us, so let's tee it up. Andre de Grasse has said, we just heard it there, he wants that gold medal, and he wants it now. He doesn't want to wait till 2020 after Usain Bolt retires. What do you think? Can he do it?
I think he can do it. You know, that's the first time I heard that soundbite, and I'm like, right on you, good attitude. Who wants to wait 4 years for their time to shine? There are 3 semifinals tonight. Andre is in the second one. In my estimation, it is going to be the hardest one to qualify from because he's in lane 5, but guess who's in lane 6? The big man, Usain Bolt. And so I've talked to some casual fans and like, I don't like that. I don't like Andre racing him in the semifinals. I like it, though. As a track analyst, as a former, track runner myself, I always like drawing one of the threats in the semifinal because it lets you know what it could be like in the final, but his odds are good. What he has going for him is the fact that he's a gamer. And people use that word gamer all the time. What does that mean? It means he likes pressure. He likes to rise to the occasion. He likes when all the lights and the glare are on him. And tonight, that's going to be the case.
There's been a lot of talk, too, about his start and acceleration, something that he and his coach, I know, have been working on. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I talked to his coach, Stu McMillan. Of course, they train in Phoenix together. And so for a long time, they've been working on his acceleration, him coming out of the blocks and getting up into his running. They've put that aside for the last few weeks. Now they're focusing on race modeling. He doesn't have a great start. No big deal. He has a bit of a wonky arm. No big deal. What he does well is he runs his race plan. What can happen in a race like this in the 100 is you get in the lane beside Usain Bolt, he runs a certain kind of race, and you throw your race plan in the garbage. Andre doesn't do that. He runs his race the way that he wants to run it. Tonight, the semifinal, he has to be top 2 or qualify with the second or first fastest loser times. And I think he's capable of doing that. And when he gets to the final, and I'm putting him out there, he can be on the podium.
Talk to me a bit more about the nerves, because just seeing the world's fastest man beside you in the lane next to you, he is known, Andre de Grasse, for, his calm demeanor. And as you say, he rises to the occasion under pressure. This is also his first Olympics, though. As someone who's been there yourself, how will he, do you think, be able to overcome just the enormity of this moment?
I am so impressed with Andre because he's 21. Like you said, he's so young, first Olympics. And I know he's going to have nerves. I know he's going to have butterflies. At the Usain Bolt press conference a few days ago, he says, I don't get nervous before the 100. And that to me sounded a little bit cocky, but you've won 2 Olympic golds. You're the world record holder. You're going to be a little bit cocky. What's of utmost importance for Andre is to make sure that he does what he needs to do. Who cares if Usain gets out before you? Who cares if you're not in contention early on? Run all the way to the line. Usain, what he does so well is he's, 6'5", 6'6", but he runs like someone who's shorter. So for everyone who takes maybe 40, 45 steps, or 43 to 45 steps in 100, he can swallow up the track by taking only 40. So It's going to be really hard to outdo him. But again, I have great expectations for Andre that he can mount the podium. But first, you got to get through the semi, of course.
Exactly. Yeah, I think there's about 8 inches between the two of them, actually, when we talk about height. Let's talk about Usain Bolt's health challenges, though. We know that yesterday he was quoted as saying he was feeling a bit sluggish. He has been dealing with a grade 1 hamstring tear. Is that likely to be a factor for him?
Jennifer, I have been a track and field broadcaster and a broadcaster at large for 3 years. Every year before a major final, Usain Bolt has a cold or a niggle or something that's not 100%. For me, I feel like it's almost like a crutch for him. It's to take the edge off the pressure. I really think he says he doesn't feel it, but I think he does. And so I think he's healthy. I think he's fine. I think when you're the world record holder and you run 9.58, your margin of error, you could stop and do your laundry and probably still medal. So To me, Usain Bolt is the man to beat in this race. But the question is, how fast can he go? And look out for heat number 2. In my opinion, I keep saying it's going to be the hardest one to qualify out of, simply because you have the fastest man who ever lived. And this is the other thing I want to make note of. When you watch Usain Bolt tonight, this will be his last 100-meter appearance at the Olympics, and the records that he has set will most likely outlive him and all of us watching. Pretty outstanding.
Oh, yeah, excellent point. So it's the legacy he's leaving behind after tonight, too. I want to ask you about another Canadian medal contender in the Olympic Stadium today and how you think things are looking for Derek Drouin in the high jump later this evening.
Reigning Olympic champion. I mean, we don't get those very often in Canadian track and field. His chances are good. He's going to have to go through Barshim of Qatar, who on any given Sunday seems like he can just jump 240, which is probably higher than your doorpost at home. Derek can do the same thing as well, but Barshim is a little bit more consistent. What Derek Drouin has to his advantage is he is the reigning world champion. I can tell you from being world champion before that that's almost a bit of a fortification. You feel confident, you feel sure, you've been there before, and that is going to be his advantage tonight.
All right, thanks for teeing it up. An exciting night ahead of us, to say the least. Perdita, thank you for this.
My pleasure.
Olympian and CBC Sports Olympic commentator Perdita Felicien in Rio.